welcome to Deco Easy. Today we have a new edition for you, and me, Diane, I'm going to craft something for you with you for Christmas in July, because it's July and Christmas is halfway through this year, so perfect time to start creating something cozy for your home. And today I'm going to make something that we can use indoor. However, if you have the Mod Podge or any other kind of glue and materials that are suitable for outdoor use, you can also put it outside of your home on your front porch, for example. But I'm going to show you for indoors because I don't have the right materials to do it for the outdoor part. What we're going to need, of course, we start with our tumbling tower blocks. For the ones new to our channel, these are the blocks that Jenny and I use. Hopefully you can see them. I have a little bit of problems with the light today. It's really cloudy here. These are the blocks that Janny and I use, and they come in packages of 45 pieces. They cost 3 or 4 euros. They raised the price recently, I believe, and Janny buys them in really huge numbers on an online party supply web shop. So then we can create a stash for the both of us, and then we get a little bit of discount. But anyway, a party supply shop in the Netherlands. And the reason we buy it there is because they have the best blocks for the lowest price. Because recently I saw this in a shop and they costed nearly 5 euros for the same pack that we can get online. So that was a little bit of a shock for me. Anyway, enough talking about this package. They come in plastic, and then when you unwrap the plastic, this is what you can see. The blocks 5 centimeters long, 2 centimeters high, and 1 centimeter thick here. And I want to make some sort of planter idea for today. And you can really just shape it, color it, design it the way that you like it. I'm going to show you the way that I like it, just to give you some inspiration for the holidays or the Christmas in July. I still have some leftover blocks here that we're going to use first. And what we also need is wood glue. Oops. You gotta hold it, Diane, otherwise people can't see what you're doing. This is the wood glue that Jenny and I use. I don't know if you're familiar with this brand. We buy it at a shop called Action here, which is a shop similar to Dollar Tree. And this thing is about, I think, €1.50. And it's a really huge, large container. This stuff is waterproof, so this is suitable for outdoor use. However, the paint or the stain that I'm going to use not. So that's why I don't recommend that. What I do, put it on your front porch outdoors. Anyway, this stuff is cheap. You don't need that much out of it. I always use too much glue, but you will see that later. And I think we can create some of the most beautiful things together with these two ingredients. I think I did enough talking for now. I'm going to take you with me through the process. I'm trying not to speak too much because otherwise it'll get a really boring video. But I'll try to show you step by step how you can create this Christmas planter, which you can put in your hallway, on your front porch, on your dining table as a centerpiece. Completely do it your way. You can even put it in the toilet if you want to surprise your guests with some Christmas in July. That's all possible. That was it, I think, for now. I'm going to start creating the back plate with the glue and the blocks. Let's go. I'm sorry, in the previous shot I had my crafting mat in the wrong position. This is the right position. A lot more comfortable for your eyes, I guess. Okay, I said I want to start with the back plate, but I'm not sure if I want to, because we can also start with the basket that comes in front of the back plate. And I want to see how many blocks we need for that job. And you might be wondering what I'm doing, but I have a Scrabble letter here, and I want to determine how large that thing is, because I want to make Mary upon it. I think this is enough, the width of 3 blocks. And however, my first idea was to do it this way. Then we make some rows and leave a tiny little space here in between, just to give it an authentic look. And the letters, we can put it around like that. probably I found a solution how I can create a front part of the rack or the planter with some space in between, because if you put it down like that for the planter itself, I think that's too massive. I want to have some spaces in between the rows of the blocks. I didn't glue anything yet. I just wanted to show you how the idea was. Therefore, everything has to be laid down straight so you can see better what I mean. Or you can put a little bit more out of each other. You can make the gap as big as you want to. You can just do this. Easy as that. Of course, this will be the inside, so the outside part will be that, and you can still see some wood there in between, but not that much. And I think the depth of the planter box will be 1. Yeah, 1 is more than enough. Okay, my measuring is done. The letters will come later. Time to start gluing the front side, and therefore I'm going to show you how I glue for the ones new here. Take a close look. You just grab your glue. The nozzle is free. This is really unhandy with this can. Sometimes the nozzle gets stuck, but that's my own fault because this cap holder here is super nice, but it also makes me forget to put the cap back on afterwards. So yeah, sometimes it happens that this thing stands up open without a cap. The glue dries and the whole nozzle gets stuck, so then you get to grab yourself a hot needle to unclog it. I was here. You just put upwards or rotate all the blocks except for the first one in a row, and then you're going to glue the top sections like this. There. And then you gently rub them against each other. Just like so. Easy as that. There. And now, personally, I like to let this dry for just a couple of minutes. It isn't that warm here today. As I said, it's cloudy, so the drying time will be a little bit longer. So just leave it to stand here for just a couple of minutes. And then I'm going to put them all, behind each other. And I recommend you to take some spare blocks so you can push and outline everything together. But that's just my suggestion. You don't have to do it. And if there is some glue spilling here in between, you can just wipe it away. For example, with a damp cloth or maybe a piece of paper, whatever you want to use. Or just wipe it away with your finger. That's my personal favorite. I don't have the patience to do that with a piece of cloth. Yeah, sorry. I'm just really impatient today. Okay. In the meantime, I think I just talked enough for just a couple of minutes, isn't it? Yeah, this shot lasts about 3 minutes. So I'm going to show you how I continue. Just gently lay them down behind each other. Do not push too hard. That comes in the next step. Just softly and gently. There we go. And the last one here. Now, this is where the spare blocks come in. I recommend you to not put them behind each other, but just leave some space here in between. There we go. Now you just press down. And then maybe rotate a little bit to see if everything is in the right position. Oops, there went something wrong. But that is my thing. Okay. Oops. Yeah, that's what I wanted to tell you. Sometimes you have wood that won't stick to each other. And this is the perfect example. As you can see, the glue is totally gone. I personally call this greasy wood. It really sort of sucks up the glue and it won't stick. So you can't always avoid that. Sometimes it happens. You can't see it. You can't feel it. Just put some extra glue on. And there, leave it to dry. And hopefully it will work out now the way as it should be. This thing starts to dry really well. I'm going to wipe away the glue. First on the side parts, and I will rotate them and do the front parts as well, carefully. This needs to be done carefully as well. And the last one here. Do not wait too long with wiping away the glue, because sometimes it is just too late and then you get really ugly bubbles. That is the whole thing that I wanted to show you. Yeah, I'm leaving it to dry. I'm not going to continue too fast because this is greasy wood and I don't want to fall it apart. So I'm going to take it a while, let it rest, let the glue set in, let everything dry, and then we continue to the next step. Well, here we are back again. I think the glue is dry by now, and that's the good reason for me to use this crafting mat, because if you want to create, yeah, I'm very distracted by all the glue that is upon here. Let me just clean it up a little bit more. There. That flattens out the surface, doesn't it? Okay, in the corner, all of you scraps. There. The good thing about this crafting mat is that it has lines which are straight. So for now, I'm going to lay down flat. Oops. Oh, come on. Not going to tell me that this one didn't stick. No, it's okay. I'm going down to lay down everything flat. Hopefully everything goes well. Just this way. And then I'm going to glue the sticks in the middle. I think that will do this way. So just a small dot here, a small dot here, and one in the middle. Oops, now it started moving. And here again. Gently push it back in place because this one moved a little bit the wrong way. And this one didn't lay down flat. Okay, now carefully position it. The good thing is that you can still move around a little bit, so you don't have to do it right in the first place. Just make sure that everything is outlined this way. And now we wait until it's completely dry. Very important, before you can continue doing anything else with it. I believe the fence is dry. Look. This is how the front part looks. I think it's super cute, and it's also really steady. Next thing is, let's put it down, to complete it with side parts. And that doesn't have to be really, how do you call it? Difficult. Such a difficult word to find. Because we can just put parts here and there. I think the smartest is to start with the one on the inside. And then we can go to the outside. Same thing as we did before. Rotate the box. Let's drop some glue there. Not too much. Try to keep it tiny. There we go. And now I just gently rub between the blocks to divide the glue. And this also, in my opinion, avoids the drippers that you might create if you put too much glue upon the blocks. But maybe that depends on the type of glue that you're using. I have no idea, to be honest. I never use different wood glue than this one. Okay, well, leave this to rest for just a couple of minutes. And then we can place them on the side parts here. And also let that dry really well before we start constructing the floor. Okay, I think we're good to go. Let me grab these. Carefully place them in the center. If you want to, you can use spare blocks, but I prefer to use my finger to outline them. Or fingers, because we need multiple fingers for this job. And my fingers are stuck. Okay. And there we go. And 2 here. Well, you can press, but it isn't a big deal if you don't. Okay, and the last 2. Oh, this is harder than I thought it would be. It starts moving around. Maybe I just used, again, too much glue. Okay. I think we're there. I don't see drippers, by the way. I do see parts that aren't completely straight. They are now. Leave this to rest long enough before you can construct anything further for this DIY. I believe everything is dry. Yes, it is. I think it looks super cute. The idea is that we put this in front of a big back part. And of course we also need a bottom plate. I don't think that the bottom plate is the hardest thing to make, because you need 3 pieces in length. And let me see, how many pieces do we need behind each other to cover it up? I think 3 will do, but that looks weird on the front part. So then it'll be 4. 3 long and 4 behind each other. And then this is what you get. No, I'm saying it wrong. This is what you get. So just a little part will be peeping outside the front. However, what if we do this? Make it 1 wider. Does it become a little bit too massive in my opinion, but that's totally up to you. I personally prefer this one here, even leaving these 3 out. So just like that. I think that works for me. Let's glue again. In the way that we did it before. But as I said, it's totally up to you. Oh. Oh, it's stuck. Okay. I'm going to grab myself a needle and unclog this thing. Or have I unclogged it yet? I don't think so. Yeah. Oh, that works. Normally it worked. Normally it doesn't work. That was what I wanted to say. There we go. I'm going to do it quick now because this connection doesn't have to be super strong. I don't think there will be big tension underneath these blocks. Carefully put them behind each other and then we let this dry at instant. And maybe if you want to work a little bit faster, you can also just rotate. First, let's use the spare blocks technique. Like there and like there. Just like so. Yeah, it's strong enough, the glue, yet. So pour some more glue or make dots, whatever you like. I'm going to put that behind each other, just rub it in a little bit this way, like that, and like so. Now if I want to, yeah, I think I'm going to do that, also glue this together so we have one big block but only the side parts. It won't be resting at the front. Just like that. We'll put this in here. And you know it fits when the back parts and the side parts are outlined. Just like that. Now I'm going to give it a subtle press. Not too hard. Wonderful. This can dry, and I think I'm going to paint it. And I'm also going to crack open a new package because I only have 4 blocks left, or 5. Yeah, 5. So I need some spare blocks. Time to open up a new package. And with that, I'm going to make the back plate. And maybe we can also write down Mary on the back plate, because to be honest, I don't want to ruin this nice, authentic, rustic view, but that's my opinion. You can also decorate the front, maybe with a little bow. Totally up to you. Okay, here are some new blocks. I'm going to use this position, but you can also use this position to determine how many blocks we can use behind each other. Ah, wonderful. Maybe I want to make a little bit bigger back plate then. I'm going to look in the camera to see if you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully, with this setting, I can give you a little bit of an idea how large the back plate will be. I put blocks here in a row, and I stack them 4 high, and I think then you can create a nice scenery in here, with even space to put Mary here on top, or whatever you want. But you can also do it another way, by just placing blocks here against each other. And then we need to stack them a little bit higher, but this is totally up to you. The other variation, I found that a little bit more playful, because then you get horizontally and vertically placed blocks. But of course, this also works. And you can go as high as you want. Totally up to you, but I prefer the other side, so I'm not going to show this again. Anyway, I had to rebuild it. Just place them behind each other. Now I have the same width, and now the width is a little bit thicker. I prefer this one. Carefully put this away. And I said, I believe 3 high. No, 4. It was 4 high. Yeah. This high. Oh, it's too high for the camera right now. Let me just carefully place it down. Okay. I think I'm going to do it row by row. And therefore I need a lot more blocks. I can see that from here. Oops. Do not throw it upon the floor, Dyanne. That's not going to work. Your DIY is upon the table. Okay, I'm going to skip this part because I think it will be super boring to watch for you all. As I said, I'm going to glue all this down. Was this the right? Yeah, this was the right size. I'm going to do it 4 high. So this will be the complete back plate. However, if you want to, maybe that's also just a really nice idea. Now I'm just starting to think, why am I not doing a massive back plate, but a frame? Okay, let me show what I have in mind. This one needs to go up here because I need to see how many blocks I need to use. I think 3 in every direction. And then we make a perfect square by doing this. So not here, but up here. Oh, I didn't think of that. Is this high enough? Yeah, it might work. However, if we put it in front and this frame will go up here, you might going to need to place the letters here on the front. Doesn't have to be. Let me see if I put these in here, will this work out? So we get a little bit more protection for the plants or the scenery, the greenery that you're going to make in here. But the question is, will this fit or won't it fit? But it fits like a glove. I'm going to do it this way. Yeah, I think I will do that. The only question is, do we need a square frame or do we want to place everything one up higher? I'm not doing it right now. I believe I do. Here, up here, and then we need 2 blocks extra. Now we can go up here. Yeah, now we can get a little bit more space for the higher scenery. And this one goes straight like that. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. That will look beautiful. Now I made a mess here, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to clean it up. You move all over here, and I'm going to glue this frame here. And I think it would be a nice idea to give the frame a white color. Maybe I'm going to do everything white. And the letters might be, or just the basket that will be in the front of the planter will be beeswax stained. How am I going to glue this? I think just as it lays down here, because the shape and the size, everything is correct. Or shall I just rip it apart and do this, this, and this first, and this? Yeah, I think that's more doable for me. This way. Oops. And there we go again. As I said, I'm going to skip this because I think it will be super boring to watch. So that's why I made that choice. And I can't stop talking, so I'm going to quit now. You will see in the next shot how the back plate turned out. Okay, the glue part is done. This is the frame, and it's going to be here in front of the basket. And then this is what you get. I think it's super cute. But before we assemble this, I think it's a good idea to start painting. The glue is drying. Yeah, completely dry. Where shall I start? I think with the basket. For the painting, I use this blackboard paint from Action. This thing is pretty not expensive, cheap. I think the whole can was about 5 or 6 euros, and the paint is really good in covering all sorts of things, only with 1 layer. So Jenny and I like to use this really quite a lot. I'm going to grab just a watercoloring brush and a small one so I can get here in between here, and I think that will do the trick. Then I will leave it to dry, and after that I can start how do you call that, gluing it together. I'm not going to paint the parts here and this part here because there is where the glue should be. So I'm leaving that just blank, unpainted wood, just for the glue. Okay, for the ones who are interested in how the color looks, I will show you a small part. I think I just start with the bottom part here. Look, I think this coverage is just crazy. 1 layer is enough. It's really just pure black. I love it. Hey, there we are. The paint job is done. I hope that you can see it while I move away, because the black against my black shirt isn't that very useful for you to watch. I really like how it looks, and the only thing that I miss right now are the letters, and I decided to not put them here, not put them there, but to make a sign which I can hang here around. So it will be up here, so you don't have to put the greenery that high. And I think it's really easy just to make a tiny small sign. How large do I think to be? I think this, or maybe 1 size extra. Just glue this together. I already showed the letter in the beginning, those Scrabble letters. They also come from Action. I believe you have a package for 2-3 euros or something. And I can put them right upon here. Just need to measure how long it needs to be. Now we can hang it up in here. Just with some twine or burlap or ribbon, whatever you want to use. Iron wire, totally up to you. I'm going to make that sign. I'm also going to glue the letters upon it. And after that's ready, I will show you the staining process, because this is actually what I'm planning to use. Beeswax from the drugstore here, and you only need a brush. I just use this simple watercoloring brush. And then you can just stain the wood, but make sure that before you do that, all the glue work is done, because once you put this upon your wood, it won't glue anymore. So be careful with that. And after you stained, make sure that you wait long enough. I think I'll wait whole night to let it dry, because it needs to dry really well. Otherwise your fingers get dirty, your DIY project gets dirty as well. And yeah, you don't want to have that. So you don't want a messy DIY. So take your time with the beeswax. Okay, are you ready for the sign that I made? Here it is, just super simple. Nothing hard about doing this. I outlined the letters with some spare blocks. So I pushed them down together in all directions, and now it looks pretty cool. The next step, and I want to make sure that the glue is dry enough, which is, the letters won't move anymore. The next step is staining with beeswax. As I said before, you take your brush, now I'll dip it or dab it into the wax itself. Now there is a really big lump, I don't know if you can see it here, a big lump of beeswax, and I want to get rid of that lump, so I always dab my brush in the lid of this thing. And I think the easiest part is to start with the sides, because when the sides are done, you can still hold the DIY. Once you do the back and the front plate first, you can't hold the DIY anymore. You see the difference here? One really weird spot here where the glue won't stick. Might happen sometimes. Look, you can still hold your DIY like this. And you can just rub around in circles like this. I'm not going to stain the back, by the way, because that's where I would need to glue my twine. So just rub it in. And do the bottom part, because you're going to see that part as well. Just like that. Okay. Now, the edges are done. Time to move over to these edges here. Just, oops, take the flat side of the brush. And I'm going to rub back and forth to put the beeswax into the right position. Now, I suggest don't take an expensive brush for this job, because the process here might ruin your brush, so be careful with it. There, and I'm just going to continue like so, and now I'm going to lay down DIY. If you want to, you can use an extra block to hold it, if that is easier for you. And I just start rubbing back and forth like this. And make sure, I forgot to say that you ventilate the room well enough, because this stuff smells. It can give you a pretty bad headache, at least me, if you don't get fresh air. But that's just a warning for me. It doesn't have to be that way. Okay, oops, almost forgot to dab it around. And these letters will be stained, and then we are there. Just rubbing it in really well. And that's it. Here you can see the difference between a stained and non-stained part of wood. Makes a huge difference in my opinion. Okay, I'm carefully going to close this and store it away. And now I have to wait until it's completely dry. And it doesn't matter if it's a small thing or a big one. It just takes time to settle for the beeswax. What might help, by the way, if the weather is nice, you can lay it outside in the sun baking. Really, that helps it drying up a lot faster. So today it's not possible for me, but otherwise I would have done that to speed up the whole process. So just have to wait a little bit, and then I'll be back with the finishing touch. Hey, welcome back. I want to show you how the sign turned out. Just this way, and I think it's lovable. Time to finish off the DIY today. We have the frame. I'm going to hang the sign in here, and I also want to fill this up with some greenery, and therefore I just have different kind of pieces of these pine branches. Different colors, different variations. I'm going to stack it up, and I'm going to use some red berries for that extra Christmassy feeling. And I think then we're done, and I will show you the final result. Hey everyone, are you all ready for the final reveal of this DIY? I hanged up the sign, as you can see, and I also, when we moved down, filled up the box with some Christmas greenery and with some berries. And as a surprise, on the bottom I just made a festive bowl with some ribbon, as you can see here. And now I think this Christmas in July DIY is complete. Thank you all very much for watching. Jenny and I are curious what you think about this DIY. I also hope that you enjoy the other DIY Christmas in July videos. Thank you for watching and have a nice day. Bye everyone!